With today's scientists working twice as hard to change the world through science, the world is finally on the verge of laying the groundwork for the rise of female pleasure robots. It signifies the arrival of female pleasure robots and humanoids programmed to perform specific tasks in the hospitality, food service, and also entertainment industries. So what is the dark truth behind female humanoid robots? Curious to know? Let's find out. But before that, for everyone who's new to our channel, hello and welcome to Robot Future, where we fill you in on every thrilling discovery and mind-blowing insights in the world of robots, AIs, and future technology. So consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification for a ton of exciting robot content coming your way. Now, without further ado, let's get into the video. Women in technology have long been linked in our culture, owing largely to the computer's chronological replacement of low-level secretarial work that was traditionally considered to be done by women. This association does not stop there. From almost entirely female phone operators throughout the 20th century to Siri, Alexa, and Cortana, women have been associated with technology. Society has grown accustomed to interacting with technology via a woman's incorporeal voice. The fear of the female is projected onto technology as a result of this feminization, and thus the fear of artificial intelligence was transformed into a paranoid terror of femininity. Lars, a socially awkward bachelor who believes a plastic blow-up doll is his real girlfriend, is played by Ryan Gosling in the excellent film Lars and the Real Girl. His delusions allow him to maintain a relationship with the doll while friends and family react with varying degrees of concern. A true story Lars may not seem so naive in the near future. Technology might soon be able to provide him with the functional equivalent of a human partner. A number of vendors were exhibiting wares at the massive consumer electronics show CES 2016 that have the potential to make some lonely humans a little less lonely. There's long been a fascination with robots and their potential to replace and collaborate with humans in fiction and film. There has frequently been a thread running through these relationships. Consider Brent Spiner's portrayal of Star Trek The Next Generation's android Lieutenant Commander Data. One of the show's 7-year running themes was Data's efforts to develop a more emotional connection with others. Characters in the critically acclaimed films Her and Ex Machina have recently formed bonds with artificial life forms. Perhaps this reflects many people's feelings about love. It could also explain the widespread use of devices, videos, and plastic dolls as surrogates, smartphone-operated pleasure devices, is recent popular technological innovations. When it comes to relieving their tension, many people simply want to avoid other people. To paraphrase the risque cult classic Rocky Horror Picture Show's scientist Frank N. Furter. Furter creates his own robot, a beefcake blonde that he proudly displays. The world appears to be on the verge of making fiction a reality, with full-fledged robots serving as partners. True Companion has had a robot called Roxy for a number of years, but the phenomenon has yet to take off. This year, however, has seen the appearance of a robot with a human appearance that some observers have dubbed Beauty. Japanese inventors have created a robot that resembles a woman, as seen in the video titled "Japanese Robot Girl Can Do Anything for You." The video begins with the question, "Are you sick of looking for a girlfriend? What are your options?" The inventors appear to have an answer for you. This development has numerous implications. Pleasure video is still prevalent in technology and business. It is, of course, the result of persistently high demand. Consider that pleasure is expected to be a major driving force in the expanding virtual reality sector. We now have robots, and it would not be an exaggeration to say that they have the potential to be the next killer app. The idea of controlling a ready robot partner via a mobile device may appeal to some people. There are legitimate concerns here. Pleasure has historically been a complicated and awkward subject as society balances human desire against moral behavior. When it comes to please, what is reasonable and what is excessive? When do we dehumanize procreation to the point where it has no meaning or is simply cruel? Campaign Against Humanoid Robots, a new organization, has emerged to address some of the concerns. The development of humanoid robots increases the objectification of women and children. The vision for humanoid robots is emphasized by a reference of please robots, which relies on recognizing only the needs and desires of the buyers of pleasure, while the sellers of pleasure are denied subjectivity and reduced to a thing. The development of humanoid robots and the ideas that support their production highlight the immense horrors that still exist in the world of human trafficking, which is based on women's and children's perceived beauty and thus justifies their use as objects. Professor Kathleen Richardson of De Montfort University in the UK, an ethicist and leader in the campaign against pleasure robots, has expressed grave concern about the development of please humanoid robots. We believe that the development of such robots will contribute to the deterioration of relationships between men, women, and children, she said. Some issues in human interactions may be exacerbated by robots. Marriage and birth rates are already declining in many developed countries, posing a potential economic threat. The growing use of robots may exacerbate this deterioration in the very relationships that allow us to survive. Animals and even inanimate objects are easily anthropomorphized by humans. Faces can be found in almost anything, from clouds to door handles. In the film Castaway, Tom Hanks' character appears to be able to overcome great adversity by naming his volleyball Wilson and carrying on a conversation with him throughout his 4 years of isolation. Psych Central reports that anthropomorphism has numerous implications. Thinking of a non-human entity in human terms, for example, makes it worthy of moral care and consideration. Furthermore, anthropomorphized entities take responsibility for their own actions. In other words, they become deserving of both punishment and reward. People would undoubtedly try to form more meaningful relationships with their robot companions, especially if robots could display some resemblance of human emotion. Would such a relationship take the place of human contact? It does in the film Her, and without the aid of a physical relationship. Other questions must be addressed in addition to the cultural and moral implications. Could people marry horses or leave their wealth to dogs if they could marry robots? Can a primary partner sue for infidelity if a person uses a robot for a companion? How far will humans go to keep their updated robots operational? In 2013, India declared dolphins to be non-human persons and prohibited dolphin-centered shows. Argentina recently declared orangutans to be non-human persons and declared that they could not be held captive. It is not impossible for robots to achieve similar status. So what now? Living on your own? Wages? What about retirement benefits? Perhaps one day, robots will no longer be considered possessions. To be sure, robotics is pushing science into uncharted territory. Medical device manufacturers and technologists are already developing more sensitive prostheses that integrate more finely with human biology. The advancement of brain-improving circuitry may one day blur the line between humans and robots. Things will only become more complicated when pleasure is introduced into the equation. We frequently fail to see how the advancement of humanoid robots, and also the ideas that support their production, demonstrates the enormous horrors that still exist in the world of human trafficking, which is based on women's perceived inferiority and therefore justifies their use as objects. Although it is true that people should direct their energies toward robots rather than children or women, it still reinforces power relations that are inequitable and violent. One example is how designers of robots assign gender based on their function. People who build these robots are simply reinforcing existing stereotypes in the same way that sex robots generalize the idea of female beauty. Is it possible that we will prefer machine kinship to human or animal kinship one day? If this is correct, our society will suffer as a result. The science fiction concept of humanoids has now become a part of our everyday lives as we enter the 21st century. Researchers in Korea and Japan developed the first human-like and lifelike androids. Despite the fact that the scientists' first models were humanoid robots with feminine bodies, they mimicked masculine movement patterns. Sensors and actuators, for example, enable humanoids to move, communicate, and perform actions. Humanoid robots are thought to be robots with structural similarities to humans. They have a head, torso, arms, and legs, which isn't always the case because some humanoids don't resemble humans at all. Humanoids are mostly androids, or are based on a few key human components, such as the human head. They have sensors that enable them to detect their surroundings. These humanoids function based on specific characteristics, and an android is a humanoid robot designed to look like a man. Still watching? We knew you'd love our video. Well, we'd be even happier if you could just hit that like button. And with that being said, it's time to end our video. But before that, we'd like to know your opinion about this. What do you think about our future with female pleasure robots? Let us know in the comments, and make sure to subscribe to the channel for more amazing videos just like this. We'll see you in our next video. Take care, and goodbye.